See you later.
Oh, that was a good. All right, we're off to a rip-roaring start. That wore me out.
I'm crying. Don't cry.
We're off to a rip-roaring start on episode 18 of the Vegan Hour. Good evening and welcome. I hope that we're trying something new tonight. We're using lapel mics. So I want to get your feedback as to how good the audio is. I'm just going to do a refresh on my computer here and see if I can check the audio. And let's have a look what we've got here. Have we got it? Yep, excellent audio. Clear, strong, good audio. So, okay, welcome to episode 18 of the Vegan Hour with the machine, Cary Huff. this is a machine. Thank you for joining us, Annette, and for letting us know that the audio is great.
Thank you, honey.
If it's too loud, we'll just talk normal volume. This is Tuesday, September the 13th, and I've got my Vegan Life mug. And before I just mention the events coming up the next week, tonight, Cary is going to be talking about personal development. This is going to be a very positive episode, and as I said in the promo, not like any of the other episodes aren't positive, but this is going to be helpful in our vegan journey, because it's going to help us to be able to cope with some aspects of activism and how we handle criticism and how we handle questions and so forth. So Cary's approach can help us when we're actually when we're being ambassadors of awareness. Cary's approach will help. So
keeping life in balance, you know.
Yeah, balance. Yeah. So welcome. I don't know if I've officially said welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Now, guys, I know that we're pixelating in and out a bit because we're watching it on the monitor, but the YouTube version, as I always say every week, the YouTube version will be clear with good audio. Well, actually, I believe we've got good audio now with the lapel mics, but with good audio and good video. So. Yes, evening, Matthew, and Chris is watching, and Christy is watching. Hey, Christy, how are you? And okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to be talking to Cary tonight. I'm going to get him to. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, about where he's coming from, about personal development, a positive approach in life. Before we get there, let's just go over the events that are coming up in the next week. Actually, the events are just this weekend, so that's easy. So I've got 3 for Saturday and Sunday. So for Saturday, the 17th of September. Oh, Hannah's joined us. Hey, Hannah. Okay, for Saturday, the 17th of September, from 10:30 a.m. So that's this Saturday, from 10:30 a.m. at Coolum Beach.
Christy says hi.
Hey, Christy. That's good.
Sorry.
You can,
I'll do that.
You do that.
Yeah.
I'll do this. Yeah. I could have watched it down there and I didn't, yeah. And Hannah says hey as well. Okay, so...
Where were we?
Okay, this is this Saturday, the Inspiring Change Animal Action Event at Tickle Park. Woohoo! And I even did a little, like that one, that works for me, got me through high school, at Coolum Beach. It's the Inspiring Change Animal Action Event is hosted by Coast to Coast Animal Friends. There will be Lee Chantel there from Viva La Vegan. There will be live music, cruelty-free food, a kids' corner, etc. from 10:30 a.m. this Saturday. On Sunday, the 18th, which is obviously the day after Saturday, the 17th. I'm good at this.
David says hi.
Hey, David, how are you? All the way from Sydney. So thank you for joining us, David. On Sunday, the 18th, Farm Animal Rescue is having their open day again
that's nice of
at Daybreak. Yes, you've been there? Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
I got a ticket going over there, 7 kilometers over the limit.
Yeah.
It's like $300, so...
Wow. If you could have donated the money to Farm
That's
Animal
what I'm
Rescue.
saying. I had to cut it back anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, from 10 a.m. this Sunday at Farm Animal Rescue. It's their open day. There's walking tours. There's the cruelty-free food that you have for the lunch there. Nicholas is there on and says hi.
Hey, Nicholas.
Hey, Nicholas.
Hey, Chris and
And
Claire.
you get to meet all the animals. You get to learn about the animals they've rescued, how they take care of them, what their previous lives were like. It is an incredible education, and it really, really will just inspire you how much that the people at Farm Animal Rescue put into what they do. It does, doesn't it? You come away from it and you just go, wow. You know? So also on the same day, on Sunday the 18th, from 10 a.m. at the Queensland Maritime Museum in Brisbane, in South Bank, is the Ocean Defence Tour. Now that has live music, vegan food stalls, market food stalls, all vegan. Actually sounds like maybe a smaller version or a similar version to what we had last Sunday at the Bris Vegan Fest, or was that the Sunday before? Two Sundays ago. It has guest speakers. It has Lee Chantel again from People Are Vegan. James Aspey will be there. Chrissy Carvello will be there. Chrissy Carvello's on the show in a couple of weeks' time. The vegan fitness model.
Good
finally got it booked in. Actually, Chrissy's on my birthday.
Oh.
How's that? God,
What are you turning 35?
I'm not quite that old.
Wow.
I mean, fair go.
Anybody chime in?
So,
Everybody chime in.
now, Anne Claire from Noosa.
Noosa.
Yes. And it says, good Harry, Cary and the viewing audience. Yes. Yes, Chris. I'm not even sure what that meant, but we're getting lots of thumbs up there, and that's pretty impressive.
Yay.
Yes. What more could you want? Okay, so I tell you what more you could want. Just before. Also, one other thing. I'm getting this all out of the road because once we get going about personal development, you won't stop us. Okay, I'm doing this so I can get this onto both cameras. I'm giving away this calendar tonight. There's Jeff Leach, who was on the show. It might be a little bit pixelated there, but he was on the show about 3 weeks ago, I think, with Hannah Seaman. So they were on the. That is a.
This is actually me. This is what makeup does, and with my hairpiece. This is actually me.
Just bring it down so this camera can see it.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So that's Cary with hair.
That's me with hair and makeup.
And makeup on a good day.
Right.
So,
and they use a lens and a heavy filter.
A very heavy filter.
Buy my calendar, please. I need to make rent.
Good evening, Chris.
Sorry, Jeff. No disrespect.
Yeah, Hannah's watching, but I don't know if Jeff is, or maybe they're on the same phone. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to give that away now. I'm going to give that away. It was.
Thank you. I'm the first guest that got a prize ever. No, go. I'm sorry.
I'm giving that away, and it was a tight run competition, and it came down to 2 people, but in the end, the winner is Lucy Hodgson.
Yay!
Yeah, so good on you, Lucy. You've got a bit of tofu cake to look at.
How did you pick her, by the way?
It was a very democratic process.
Yeah,
It's to do with sharing. She shared the live stream.
No, that's great. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do appreciate it. Even if we're pixelated, we appreciate it. Hannah says Jeff is pretending to be a firefighter right now. Okay, so Jeff, that's on the front of that calendar that I just featured, he is actually a firefighter, and I know it's hard to see that when it's pixelated, but you'll be able to see it on the YouTube version. Hannah says yes, he's at work. He's at work. Okay.
Thank God he won't come over here and beat me up for saying something.
Okay.
Sorry, Jeff.
So before the show started tonight, Cary and I talked a little bit.
I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go. Honey, I'm coming home.
We've actually talked a lot. He's brought along a few books with him and that he may also show us. But you're worn out.
You got some air conditioning in here, man?
It's actually on.
You're hot.
The air conditioning is actually on. It's hard to believe. I've got it set to 22 degrees, but anyway, I can't run off and change it in the middle of the show. So okay, so Cary, let's talk a little. Let's introduce you to the viewers because a lot of people don't know who you are, where you're coming from, anything about you. Okay, so what would you like to share with the people on the Vegan Hour tonight, so that we can get an idea of why I've invited you on?
Well, thank you for that, Harry. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for everything that Harry does He just does so much behind the scenes, in front, the things you can see to set up all these events and vegans in the parks and whatnot. And I do really appreciate it. And I do thank you so much. I'm sure many other people do too. They just thinking and have the vibration out there for you. They may not say it, but without you, none of this would be possible.
We all need to be ambassadors.
Yeah.
Ambassadors for compassion.
But it's awesome. It really is awesome. Anyway.
So, thank you.
Let's see. I'll be turn 60 in a couple of months, and I never thought I'd be doing this stuff over here in Australia.
You're a young 59, mate.
That's right. I'm looking good, baby.
You're looking good, baby.
Thanks. It's the hair. It's the hair. My wife that I met in the end of '93, early '94 over on Hamilton Island. She's been vegan for 22 years, and almost that whole time I had still been eating meat. She never said anything. She never tried to change me or say, that's wrong, or look at this and look what's happening. And she just, in her quiet way, she just gently showed me what was going on. I was a vegetarian for 4 years, and I had never been healthier in my life, and I lost a lot of weight. And then I don't know why I just drifted back into meat. And then about 2 years ago, our youngest son Nicholas was 9 years old at the time. He said, Mom, I don't want to eat any more meat, because of what's going on with the animals and the cruelty.
And I like that he calls you Mum. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you have quite an interesting relationship there with your son.
I'm Cary here, and I'm Mom at home. I'm Caitlin.
Caitlin at home.
I'm Caitlin. Anyway. But it's, he was saying to Annette, Mom, I don't like what's going on with the animals. And I saw him go vegan, and his resolve for him to do that, he got a more empowering alternative. And that empowering alternative was to stop the cruelty to the animals. And willpower is not going to do it. I mean, it could be if you're drinking, you want to stop smoking, you want to lose weight, you want to stop, whatever it is you want to stop or start. You have to have a more empowering alternative. And his empowering alternative was for the animals. And I looked at him and I watched him for a while, and I was still eating a lot of meat and everything. And I saw some videos. Of course, I had seen them before, and I had just seen some more on my Facebook feed and Instagram and whatnot. And it just broke my heart. I just can't do this anymore. I've got to stop.
Yeah.
If my 9-year-old can do it.
Yeah. What excuse?
Why can't I?
Yeah, right. What excuse do I have?
I mean, what kind of example would that be? He's showing me the example. And so I stopped. Now, I do have my moments where I'm not perfect. I do slip up. But I look at it as not as a loss. I look at it as a win, because I look at how many animals I've saved so far by getting to the point I am right now.
Yep. Now, I picked up on something you said just a couple of minutes ago, which I thought was really, really good, was in talking about your son, he had a higher, I think you called it a higher resolve.
Yeah.
Was that it? Yeah. And when you have that, I look at it I call it like a higher taste or a higher vision or something, so that you have something that you were used to doing, maybe your routine or whatever, like you're eating meat, right? That's your routine. And then you become aware of something, it's greater than what you were doing, it's a higher level, it's the next level up, and then that's like, okay, this is my motivation or whatever, and you step up to that level because it's like you've completed that in a game. You've completed that level and you step up to the next one. And as you say, it's not willpower. It's actually like an awareness increase.
Yeah, willpower doesn't last.
Exactly.
It doesn't last.
Exactly.
And if it's drinking or smoking or drugs or whatever, if you do it again, I'm leaving. You can threaten and everything.
Yeah. The intention may be good behind the person saying, yes, I don't want to hurt you, honey, whatever, okay, I won't do that again, right? The intention may be good, but what the person is up against is stronger than their willpower.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And they're powerless over it. Yes. They're powerless over it until they get control of their mental, what's going on inside of them. And they have to change. It has to be a more empowering alternative. That they have to get a hold of, and if they don't have that, it's not going to last. It may last. It's like losing weight. People lose weight. I've got the willpower and I'm working out and I'm doing this and everything, and they lose all this weight, and then maybe a couple months or 6 months later, they've got the weight back and then some.
And then some, yeah.
And then some.
And Hannah comments, belief and vibration change.
Absolutely.
And also, yeah, that's good, Hannah. Yeah, well, it's nicely succinct and summed up. And also the line she said before, that's even better. Harry rocks, legend.
Well, the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm kidding.
So your son, to go back to the story, okay, your son became vegan, and you also saw some videos that were really quite eye-opening and like distressing, disturbing, you know, the Holocaust on Earth, basically, the animal Holocaust. Claire's actually asked me a question. I do want to answer your question, Claire, but I also want to give Cary the opportunity as the guest to expand on where he's coming from. And I don't want to take you along.
No, we can go. Listen, we can roll it all in.
Are you happy with that?
Look, it's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
It's all good.
I will keep it brief, Claire, because I really want to find out about Cary.
This is good.
What motivates me is a very good question. I think it's on a lot of different levels. Actually, in recent times, seriously, what motivates me is social media and all the information that I'm seeing through social media, predominantly Facebook. That is motivating me to step my game up to actually promote veganism, and this is one of the ways that it just occurred to me a few months ago to try and do it through the Vegan Hour. A few years ago I started Vegan Life, which is another way of doing it. But that's my motivation in a nutshell. I could go larger, but that's I'm motivated by other people's motivation coming through Facebook and that. So that's
great, and I can add to that. This is wonderful actually, because if you ask somebody what motivates you, and they say, well, I don't know. This is the answer to anything. If you ask them a question, I don't know. Say to them, I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would it be? Because it gets them to drill down and think instead of just, I'm just going to brush that off.
Now, actually, what you just said there, then, I don't know, but if you did know, what could it be? That takes me back to when I first met you, when you actually asked me a few questions like that, and I went, this guy functions on a different level from most people. So I thought, he's clever. He knows how to ask questions a certain way to get people to think, to challenge them, to look at where they're coming from. So that was when I met. I can't remember it wasn't that line that you said, but it was something similar to me. And I thought, okay, I'm having a conversation with someone who's got a different approach to life. So that's why you're on the show, because you have this positive try to approach life. You were saying earlier when we were talking before the show started, Cary was saying that he really loves to help people, which is,
that's my juice.
Yeah.
But I don't do it in a pushy way. I just give out information and education and try to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And if you like it and it can help you, I'm happy for you. If it doesn't, I'm happy for you again. Because there's no pressure. It's like a salesman. When you go into some place and you're trying to buy something, and the salesman's there, and he's putting a full court press on you, buy this because I got to pay my rent and the petrol and the phone and everything, and you can feel the energy. He's just desperate for a sale. Yeah. What's your first reaction?
Yeah, it's you just get your defenses up.
Yeah, you're repulsed. You back and you shut down, and you put up the screen and you say, I don't know.
Yeah.
So in order not to do that, you just ask some questions, find out about what the person, what's going on with the person.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to change you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. And I'll give you a quick example.
Yeah, please.
If that's okay.
Yeah, please.
And it might not work into, it's not going to work into a vegan type of thing, but you can unplug a few of the things that I'm talking about, or words, and put in the words that you want, and it'll still work. When I was in Las Vegas, so we lived in Las Vegas, I'm a car dealer, and I was buying and selling used cars. And I went over to a pawn shop, and they would give money for the title, and you'd have to leave the car there.
Right, okay.
So it could be a boat, car, plane, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so I got to know the guys pretty well, and I said, what's that horse float doing over there? I'm like, what are you guys doing? Oh, we can't sell it. And I said, well, what do you want for it? He said, $4,000. And I said, if I sell it, can I keep anything over the 4,000? And he said, yeah. Well, first of all, I loved it because I didn't have to put any money out, which was great. So I put an ad in the Las Vegas Review Journal, and for $59.95. And I had some, because I looked and see what they were going for. And I had some people call me, and one guy came out. Now, I don't know anything about horse floats. Nothing. It blows my mind. But I asked him questions. How long have you been looking for a horse float?
Brilliant.
What kind of horse floats have you seen?
Yeah.
Are they good, bad? Why didn't you buy?
Right. This is good. This is good.
Why didn't you buy?
Yes. Yeah.
What's holding you up? Was it the money? And you ask people, and they'll tell you. I don't have the money right now.
Yeah.
If you did have the money, would you buy this? Yes. And then I helped him try to find the money.
Find the money.
But anyway, let me get back to the story. He comes out and looks at it. He says, well, tell me about this. I said, here's the horse float. He looks at me like I'm nuts. And he goes, no, really? I said, no, really, I don't know anything about it. You know what? I want you to educate me. You are the expert here. I would love to know. And he just went in, his eyes glazed over like a shark, and he went into it, and he walked around the thing, and this does this, and this, and that. And I said, well, what does this do? And he would tell me. And I truly, I didn't know. And I didn't care, about knowing all this. You can't know everything. You can't know everything.
No, I understand that.
I acquiesced to the experts.
Yep.
Anyway, it had a tack room. I don't know what a tack room is. That's where you
that makes two of us.
Well, you put all your saddles and stuff.
Okay. Right.
And all your gear and all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I said, well, how do you tell whether it's a good horse float or not? He goes, well, you look under the rubber piece in the back where the horses stand on, and you lift it up. He goes, because usually they urinate, and it rots and rusts everything out, the wood or metal.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't know that. Why? I wouldn't have never thought of that.
Yeah. How many horses have you owned?
Well,
yeah.
In my mind, none. No. So he lifts it up, and it was like brand new under there. So anyway, he goes, this is really nice. I like it. He goes, is the price negotiable? And I said, yes, as long as we're going up. And I smiled, and I shut up. And he said, no, really. And I looked at him, and I said, no, really. And I smiled some more. And he just shakes his head. And he looks around, he walks around again, walks around the horse float. I stood there, let him have his moment. Yeah. Because the energy is on him. Anyway, he comes back, he goes, well, I want it, but I don't buy anything unless I get a discount. How much of a discount are you going to give me? Now, most people, he might be thinking hundreds or thousands of dollars discount. Yeah. So I thought about it for a moment, and I had never been in a situation like that. Usually, you buy it and I'll play hardball, and that's it. Yeah. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to knock $5 off. And then I shut up and I smiled. And he looks at me like I'm nuts, And he goes, really? I said, yeah. And I meant it. I had nothing invested. I had nothing to lose because it didn't matter whether he bought it or not. Do you get it? It's just like the vegan. It does. If you turn vegan, that's great. If you don't, that's great. Don't crucify him. Praise him.
Now this is we were talking. We might need to qualify this because we were having this discussion before the show about people that are on their vegan journey and have maybe just slipped up a little bit, or have maybe. Oh, sorry. You're right. Yeah. So we need to sort of qualify where you come from there. You're good. So, and you were talking about to me about you'd actually seen somebody posting on a vegan forum, and they'd sort of got crucified a bit because I think they'd slipped up or something.
Well, she thought about going vegan. Stop eating meat. Remember?
Right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. And she thought about it, and instead of people encouraging her, they
put her on the cross, man.
They were crucifying her. Yes.
You just effing turn vegan and do this, and it's like,
Now you actually came in with the approach and said, well, good on you for considering it.
Yes.
And encouraging her, trying to lift her up and so, and to the credit of most of the posts I see on the forums are good.
Positive.
Are positive. Most people encourage them and say that sort of thing. Occasionally somebody has had a bad day, this is what we're talking about. They've seen some videos that have really upset them.
Saw a video.
And their tolerance is very minimal, and they're like, seriously, just do it,
Yeah.
I mean, the longer you wait, I mean, there's more animals being killed every second.
Yeah.
I mean, just do it now, so we can understand that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if there's not the encouragement there to support the person's decision, I mean, the fact that they've come onto a forum and they're saying, we're thinking of doing it, means they're a long way there.
Yeah.
They're a long way there. And what are they asking for?
Right.
They're asking for support.
They're asking for help. And how do I do
support
this?
and encouragement. Yeah.
How do I do this?
That's right. It's in the different variations of what it is.
Yes.
But they're asking for somebody
support.
to confirm that the decision that they've already made on some level is the right one to do. The last thing they need is people to go, oh, haven't you done it yet already? Why not?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, you can make a person's reaction is going to be negative.
They're going to be gone.
They're going to defend themselves.
Well, they're going to be
gone. That's right.
They're going to be gone.
So the whole point of that was, so did he buy the horse float?
He looked at me. He smiled. He goes, well, I guess I can tell my friends that I got a discount on it. And he bought it.
Okay.
So
now, whilst we were telling that story, sorry, I've just interrupted you for a sec. We had a couple of comments come in. Claire replied, because she asked me earlier about what was my motivation in that.
Oh, yeah.
And she just said, thank you, Harry. You're a legend. I love what you're doing.
That's
different and totally authentic. Nice. In it,
nice. No, I like it. That's great.
And Kareem says, two very clever men. Where?
Well,
they were here earlier.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Two very clever men. Great discussion. That's good. Thanks, Kareem. That was a very positive. See, now that was a positive reinforcement back
to us.
Yeah. So we both absorbed that really nice. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And this is what I noticed. Yeah, but also I noticed in Facebook posts just generally, whether it's talking about vegan topics or talking about a person's life, anything that's happening, what I will notice when I read people's Facebook posts often is thinly disguised cries for help or support, in different levels. I do it myself. I put messages out there because I'm feeling like I'm a little bit on my own in my journey or whatever.
Well, your battery's drained a little bit. You need a recharge. You need a jump.
And a couple of people come back and say, hey, we love what you do or whatever, and I'm like, thank you. Okay, I feel like I've got that recharge to keep going.
And it gets you back in balance.
So let's talk about the recharge to get going, because one of the things that's wonderful about your approach is that you can personal development, you can use it in different areas of your life.
Any area.
So you can use it in your work. You can use it in your relationships. You can also use it in your activism, which is very, very important if you're heavily involved or even moderately involved in activism, because it can drain your batteries very quickly. You're coming up against this constant side of the world that you don't really want to have to think about.
It's a tidal wave. It's a tidal
wave. I had a small example of it today, where a person is a new person that I've only known a short while, a couple of weeks, said to me, "Oh, you don't eat meat?" Like astounded that somebody wouldn't eat meat, and I went, "No." And they went, "What? Not even seafood?" I went, "No." It was like, "No." I didn't even get to saying dairy or anything like that. I didn't even get to that point of it. Yeah. And I said, "No." And I've been like that for 36 years. And he goes, "Really?" He said, "Well, my food eats your food." And I just shook my head and I thought,
Look, when somebody says something like that, if I can cut in here for a second, it's exhausting. It can be exhausting. Let me back up. It can be exhausting. I get it. When somebody says that, it's like, why do I even try? So here's the thing. Don't try. You do this for you.
Okay. Or let me just say, in the case of vegan, you're doing it for you and the animals.
Well, but you do it for you first, and then you can do it for the animal. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Because if, say for example, you can't love somebody unless you love yourself.
Right.
Because if you just love somebody else and you don't love yourself, you're going to be a hollow shell.
That's true, and you're throwing it all on them.
That's exactly right.
And I know from personal experience,
and they take it,
that pressure doesn't work.
Suck the life out of you.
If
you let them.
Yes. But it doesn't work. It puts too much pressure on the person because you're trying to put them up on a pedestal.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So you've got to bring back, you have to be balanced in yourself, don't you?
Yep.
Absolutely. So how do you, I mean, I seem like I'm giving the advice tonight. I want to ask you, so how do you achieve that balance?
Mission accomplished.
Actually, you did jokingly say that. You did actually say that you would sit here and get me to do all the talking. That's brilliant.
I'm just going to read my book. Signal when it's over.
Brilliant. Okay. So whether that was planned or not, that was clever. Okay. So tell me about your book. This particular one. You brought a few along here.
I brought a couple along.
Now,
one of the things, like when we talked about this, and you said you were talking and analyzing whatever, it's, you ask a question. It's what you do with people. You ask a question. You don't try not to make statements.
Yep.
Ask them a question. Have you ever thought about not eating meat? Things like that. Whatever the question might be, you have to get yourself a list together.
That is actually spot on, because when I was 30 years ago or something, I read Dale Carnegie's. That was my book. Dale Carnegie's How. I jokingly.
What we're talking about. This stuff.
I jokingly call it How to Lose Friends and Influence
People.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
But Dale Carnegie, his approach was about asking questions. That was one of the concepts in there, and I used to be very strong on that. I've got out of the habit of doing it over the years. I don't know why, but when I was in my 20s and that, I had some of these techniques very, very strongly ingrained in me. So I used to use these techniques in mainly in my business, because I wasn't really much of an activist in those days. I don't even consider myself much of an activist now. I just present a Vegan Hour show. But
let me ask you a question. Do you think if you started looking at Dale Carnegie again, or things like that, it would help you out?
I would definitely be re-inspired. Yes, and I must see if I still. Okay.
I love this.
Yeah, give it a second.
That's all right.
Yeah, we're just for our YouTube viewers.
There we go.
Hey,
we're back.
Yeah, we just glitched. Well, I was just saying.
Did they hear a question?
I think
my question was, if does Glenn think that if he starts reading Dale Carnegie again, will it give him more empowerment and get him more in balance?
And I definitely think it will. I mean, when I read Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People,
that's awesome.
I actually didn't get all the way through it. I got interrupted probably by some post on Facebook, but.
That's what happens.
Yeah, it's that was a bit of a joke to the fact that I spend so much time on Facebook. Yeah, but anyway, that was up with the quality of most of my jokes. So, but when something like that, it just resets, and it's like, wow, this is inspiring. I look at the world differently. There was a concept I came across about arguments. And I don't know if it came from Dale Carnegie or not, but it was basically a very simple understanding that it takes two people to argue. And if you agree with what the person is coming at you with, and this is a technique I started using when I was really young, if you agree with them, you diffuse a lot of situations. And it's
trying to reconnect. Here we go.
It's trying to hello. We must be generating a lot of heat tonight.
Episode 25.
We must be generating a lot of heat because we keep
Too hot guys.
What can I say? How's the haircuts? Hey? Do we go to the same barber or what? I mean, is this impressive or what?
Grass doesn't grow on a busy street.
What was that one?
Grass doesn't grow on a busy street.
Grass doesn't grow on a busy street if I say it in Australian.
Mate. I forgot to add the mate.
Yeah, the mate. So I had an interesting example, seeing as it seems we're talking about me now.
Your favourite subject.
Yeah, it is. It's one of them. I had an interesting example. I was a real estate salesman for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
When I quite young, when I turned 19. Yeah, the week before. And one day, Shane's watching. Hey,
Shane!
I haven't done a shout out yet, Shane. Thank you to Vegan Frothers and Burleytown Storage, our sponsors.
Yay!
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you to Shane, who is watching now.
Make it cooler in here, will you?
Yeah, maybe I should have. I set the come down and set and set the temperature a bit lower. I'm at 22 degrees. It's not cool enough.
I need to put a parka on.
When I was in real estate, we had a guy come into the office one day. He was upset. He was upset because we'd put a for sale sign on his vacant block of land, and I don't think we'd gone through the proper procedure of actually confirming that he wanted it. So he's come in, he's upset, and he's ranting and raving. He's, I didn't want this and all the rest, and I demand that this be removed and all that. So whilst he's having his little rant and rave to the receptionist, I quietly got up from my desk, walked past the back of him, and as I went out the front door, I just turned to the receptionist and said, I'm just going to remove a sign from number whatever it was, and I went out the door and jumped in the car. Anyway, I went and removed the sign, came back, and when I came back, I said to the receptionist, what did the guy do when I gave him what he wanted?
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. I just cut through all the shit and just said, I'm going to... Didn't put up any argument or anything. I said, what did I do? She said, he stopped in the middle of what he was saying and he didn't know what to do. Yeah. Because he suddenly got what he wanted. You'd agreed with him.
You interrupted his pattern.
He interrupted his pattern. He wanted an argument. You didn't give him an argument.
Yeah, that's it.
So and she said he didn't know what to do. He went quiet.
He was embarrassed.
He went quiet and walked out.
Yeah.
So, and I've used that technique over the years in some very what I would call hostile situations, and I have been in a couple of very aggressive, violent situations. I've been attempted mugging by 3 guys in Surfers Paradise one night, which was not fun.
No.
I was able to get out of that situation. I've been in other environments where I've been face to face with people that were going to pretty much deck me, and I've stood my ground, but I've also used techniques like this because I tend to stand. I like to stand up for what I believe in. So sometimes I won't back down from certain situations.
There's a way there. There's a way to do it.
And there is a way to do it. You have to do it compassionately. You have to do it assertively. You have to respect the other person.
Force coming at you, if you bring force against it, it's just going to amp up.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
If force comes at you, which I love this.
Yeah.
When people are upset or they're rah, and I'm like, I just listen and I say, I understand you're upset. What is it that really has upset you?
Yes.
It's you. What about me that's upset you? Tell me. And then, usually we get the questions. And then we get down, oh, he's having a hard time. He just lost his job. His girlfriend or wife just left him or whatever.
Yeah.
Why do you think she left you? Or why did you lose your job? And then I literally try to help that person. Whether it's,
great.
Talk to them about maybe if you try this way. I didn't tell them try this way. Think about this. Try it this way. Here's what you could do for a job, or next time, or whatever it is.
So this is very good. This is your technique. It's exempling to the person rather than telling them what to do.
I never tell them what to do. If you tell somebody what to do, what's the first thing you do? If I tell you what to do, what do you do?
Well, I resist.
You resist.
Yes, I resist. Yeah.
What's the best way to get
because I don't want to be told what to do. I think what I'm doing is right.
Nobody.
And that's
Doesn't everybody?
Don't tell me what to do. That's what people say.
But doesn't everybody think they're doing?
We just have the conversation that people have. That's what it is. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. So what's the best way to not have resistance? By asking.
By asking questions. Yeah. And the technique I was exempling by agreeing with the person, so that you lower that aggression down, and then you can ask questions. Then you can sort of come in at a level where they're not got their defences up and they're hostile and they're attacking. You can actually then ask the question. And actually, I'm glad you mentioned asking questions, because that's something that I got out of the habit of doing. So see, I'm learning.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
So is it actually? Does it come from Dale Carnegie's book?
I don't know, but just stuff like that. You can't help it. You can't help but get things, and all of a sudden it clicks because you remember. It's like, oh yeah. Your day, if you start out 15 minutes every morning before you do anything else, go to the bathroom first, of course. Brush your pegs if they're a little rough. If you look at a book, read a book, whatever, get on a YouTube on a positive thing. Any Anthony Robbins, Dale Carnegie, anything like that. Louise Hayes, she's magic. Yeah. I promise you. Every day, make it a habit, 15 minutes a day, first thing in the morning, and then right before you go to bed. Your day, you will be in balance, you'll be flying high, nothing will bother you, and the energy and vibration that you put out around you, you will attract like back to you.
Yeah, you'll have a different approach to life, and that will be reflected.
Do you remember when you're feeling good, or anybody out there, when you're feeling good and you're on top of the world and you're in balance, and you're smiling, and your posture's really good, and you're walking great? How do people react to you? How do they react to you? Tell me.
Well, it's like the light shining out of you is reflecting. They reflected that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw a picture today. It was on a spiritual Facebook page, and it was a picture of a woman standing down the beach, and it was a very positive message with it, and that was the background picture. That she was not your classic example of a slim woman. She had a bit of
She
padding
was
of
a
that
regular
on her.
human being.
But the way she was a regular human being.
But
what I noticed was the way she carried herself, and that fits in with what you're saying.
She radiated.
She radiated. She had a self-confidence
Yes.
that reflected how she felt about herself. She wasn't worried about what you thought about the way she looked,
Didn't matter.
which is the body that she's travelling in any case. It's not really her inside. She just had this self-confidence that was reflected in the way that she was posing in the photo.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I thought, excellent, I can just picture that people would approach her exactly as you've said, and would reflect back to her that confidence that she's giving out. And as I say that, I can think of other people I know personally that are exactly like that, that are always friends of mine, that are always posting really positive stuff on their pages. They do live feeds, which are a pleasure to watch because they're always encouraging and positive.
Like you?
Me?
Like you?
I tried it once, but it took too much. It took too much.
That's enough of that.
That's enough of that. I'm going to go back to being sarcastic and
well, you can have that in there too. It's fun.
Excuse me. Sarcasm is, what do they say? It's poor man's humour or something. I think it is sarcasm.
I love it. I love it.
So okay, I'm doing way too much talking for a show where I'm meant to be asking. I'm meant to be asking Cary about his life approach and personal development. Thank you for joining us, Christine. I forgot to acknowledge you earlier, and a couple of other people that also came on that we were busy talking. Claire has agreed about 10 minutes ago to something we said, so that was...
Thank you.
Okay, and we're still getting lots of... I very much appreciate lots of little...
The hearts and the positives.
Yeah, the positives and all that.
And
That's excellent. That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you do whatever book it is, or whatever video it is, or whatever it is you do, even meditation.
Yep.
Just to get yourself in the zone, the first 15 minutes every morning.
I'm glad you mentioned meditation. See, that's one thing that
Meditation's awesome.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've done for a long time. And actually, I'm very inspired that James Aspey does meditation. And when he came to do the Vegan Hour show with me, we were filming from my house then, and we were set up, we were ready to go. We had about 15 minutes left before we were going to start live streaming. And we talked about how the show runs and all the rest. And I said, what do you want to do? And he said, do you want to do a meditation? I said, cool, I'm going to meditate with James Aspey. So we moved into the lounge room and we set the timer for 10 minutes and we just did this silent meditation together. And I thought, yeah, this was really cool. That just set a nice peaceful intent for the show. So yeah. And now that's something I'm inspired that James actually talks about that. He talks about doing his silent 10-day Vipassana. I was trying to pronounce the word Vipassana. His 10-day Vipassana meditations. Vipassana?
Yeah, what's that?
It's a brand of meditation where you actually don't talk for 10 days when they do the retreat.
You're in a retreat. I got
yeah, you're in a retreat situation. And
that'd be tough for me.
But James, I mean, his whole thing was he didn't talk for the whole year. Voice was 365. So that was inspired by that. That's got a lot of hearts and thumbs up and all that from there. A lot of them. Wow, they're firing off. Annette's sending a lot.
She's such a cutie.
So, you know, I thought that was really good. When I, talking about me again, hey,
don't run from it, don't hide from it. Let's go, baby.
Okay.
So, Harry, tell me about it.
It's funny that I'm talking about me because with my birthday coming up next month, we were working on a concept.
How old are you going to be?
Hey?
How old are you going to be?
Well, I'm how old? It's how old my body will be, and my body will be 52. But
52.
But
your mind is like 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's about right. Yeah.
Well, I'm jealous. You know.
Yours is the same, but slightly, but probably slightly cleaner than mine. I don't know.
Jewelry's still on.
Yeah. But anyway,
G-rated.
I can't remember what I was going to say. No, when I'm talking veganism, I tend to separate two parts of my life because my spiritual life is very, very important to me, and obviously my vegan life is very important to me. Being vegan 36 years. And also following a spiritual path I've been following mantra meditation for 24 years, but actually prior to that, I was following New Age. In the 1980s, I was following New Age teachings and that. So that's something that's just I've been doing.
Why do you
since.
separate the two?
Well, this is the thing. I think sometimes I feel like it's two different audiences, and I don't want to alienate them. But James,
if you think it's two different audiences, you're right. If you think it's not two different audiences,
then you're
right again.
Exactly.
See, that's part of the personal development.
So I am bringing the two together, and I've done that in different ways. I've done it with Harry's Life Lessons, which was 20. I think it was 20 episodes I did earlier this year. I've got a second series that I'll be filming. I also mention it. My Facebook page swings between spiritual posts and vegan posts, and there's the theme. I change it almost daily, so it just
they need to come together.
Yeah,
they need to come.
Well,
together.
and there is a meshing of them because some of the posts have the two join together. So yeah, this is enough about me. I want to talk about you.
I have a feeling if you bring them both together in a more not constructive, but a more thoughtful way, on purpose, you'll have more of an impact.
You could be right, and
I'm not wrong. I'm telling you right now.
Okay, you are right. And my inspiration for that, seeing that possibility, was seeing James Aspey get on and talk very passionately about the animals, and also talk very passionately about the meditation that he does.
Then why are you waiting for it?
And well, here it is. I'm doing it now.
What's wrong with that?
There it is. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So let's get back to you. So what would you like to share with when we've got?
I'm done. I'm done.
You haven't. You barely said anything. We've got about a bit over 10 minutes.
But you want to know something? Now, the few things that I said.
Luba is watching from.
Hey, Luba.
Luba's watching from Sydney. Hey. Hope it's not too cool down there. So
the few things that I've said.
Yes.
It's all meshed together. It's all part of this, even though we're having fun. Yeah. And if people just listen and apply a few of those things, like. If you think it's so, you're right. If you think it's not so, you're right again. Little things like that.
Yep.
A little thing like looking at a book or a video first thing in the morning. This Louise Hay's book, The Power is Within You. This book cost $21.45. I bought it for 10 cents. So there's no excuse for you saying, I can't afford it, or I don't want to waste my money on something like that. That's absolute rubbish. Yeah. Sometimes what I do too, which I've really found really interesting, because I like to check out the spiritual side of things. Yeah. I'll flip through the book and then I'll stop and then I'll read. For example, compulsive overeating. I do a little bit.
I love
it. Let's see. It says here, I used to have a problem with weight. Now I allow myself to be the perfect weight for me. So what it does is, what she's saying there and what you should get from that is, instead of beating yourself up and having negative self-reinforcing talk, which is good or bad, it's good, it's bad. No, negative reinforcement is bad.
Yes.
You know, I'm overeating, I'm fat, I'm a pig, I'm
whatever. You were asking, is it good or bad?
Yeah, is it good or bad?
Yes, obviously, yes.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not serving a helpful purpose.
So if you're kind to yourself, start out with the personal development in the morning. If you're kind to yourself, you'll treat yourself a lot kinder. You love yourself.
You'll treat those around you kind of.
It's like a natural progression.
So that then you automatically, naturally become an ambassador of compassion.
Yes.
So then I'm following this through. I'm expanding it.
Yeah.
So then the little awarenesses start popping up, and you start going, "Hang on, why am I eating meat? Why am I eating dairy?" I start to notice the things on Facebook or wherever that have been there all along, but I start to see them. They've been there all along. And Luba says hello to both of us.
Hey, hello. Hi, Luba.
So and Christine's doing it now. Congratulations. Can you expand on that?
Yeah.
She's
I'd like to hear about that.
Yes, because we haven't taken any questions and we're actually running out of time, so with about 10 minutes. So I wanted to know if you wanted to ask Cary anything about this angle that we're coming from, because I think it's really, really important that we are pushing. When I say pushing, it's not the right word. We're exampling.
There you go.
There it is. Go. We're exampling.
You pulled it back.
We're exampling the way that we should be living life by. In my case, I call it ahimsa, which is compassion in thought, word, and deed, and that is we example that to others. And the way we example it is, they might inquire and say, "Oh, so you like the guy today said, You can tell also when somebody inquires, like my friend today when he said, "Oh, you don't eat meat." You can tell if it's a genuine inquiry or if it's coming from a little bit of a mocking angle or something like that. Now,
but here's the thing: you want to wish them well. You don't want to hold ill will towards them.
Yes.
Just hopefully someday he'll get it. Someday the penny will drop or whatever they say. It's like when people. It's not only just vegan stuff. It's your relationship. Why am I attracting this person into my life or not attracting this person into my life? Why can't I stop drinking? Or why can't I stop smoking? Or whatever it is. Why can't I find a good job? Whatever it is. You can use this for anything. It's endless. And it's awesome. It's so exciting. It makes my hair stand up.
And as you said, like this particular book, Louise Hay's The Power Is Within You, 10 cents.
10 cents.
10 cents. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it?
Here's another one, Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. They did Think and Grow Rich. Yeah,
extremely well known.
Huge.
Napoleon Hill.
Huge book.
Huge book. I must admit, I haven't read it.
It's okay. $100 this thing's cost. I found this in the trash.
Incredible.
Somebody threw this out.
Somebody valued it at nothing, basically.
And here's the thing: this book should be $1,000 or $2,000 because people will value it a lot more
if it has that price on it.
They think, well, what is this? $2,000 for a book? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, such is the world.
Trying to reconnect. We're still down here. Hello.
We're still down.
We love you. We love you. Forget them. I almost said a naughty word. Forget them.
Okay.
Anyway,
we just had a glitch.
You get more value out of stuff that you have to pay for. Like, for example, libraries. The library is a treasure trove, and it's all free. People don't take it for what it's worth. They don't use the value. They don't.
Now I'm going to also add to that.
Yep.
Whilst I agree with that, there is also we have to be able to discern. Discern is really, really important. We have to be able to discern, and the way we discern is through our heart as to what is worth investing time into when it comes to books and that. The library is full of wonderful information. It's also full of a lot of crap.
Sure is.
I mean, it's full of people's ideas that are way off track or whatever, right? And
so is Facebook.
So is Facebook, of course, as I like to call it. So I think it's important to be able to discern. And I think the way to discern is through meditative techniques to calm so that we can hear our heart, right? And then we can make a good connection here and it all works. And I see the big smile there.
100% agree. Let me add a little bit to that.
Yep.
It's about trust and faith.
Faith. Good one. Good. Oh.
They're gone. We're back. Hello, how are you there?
Mobile's reconnecting. It's glitched.
This has been frozen the whole time. Is that bad?
No, that's okay. That's okay. But we just had a glitch again.
Anyway, it's about trust and faith.
Trust and faith.
And I'm telling you, if you start to personally develop yourself every morning for 50, I know I keep on. It's repetitive, over and over again. 15 minutes every morning. What you need to read, see, or hear will be put in front of you.
Yes.
My wife was put in front of me 22 years ago. I met her on Hamilton Island. It was end of 1993. My friends over in the United States, I lived in Baltimore, Maryland. They said, "What are you doing for New Year's Eve?" I said, "I don't know." They said, "We're going to Australia. Do you want to come?" I said, "Are you out of your mind? What is wrong with you?" No, I don't. I'm a homebody. I like to stay home. I can't stand it. 2 weeks before they were going to go, I had the strongest pull that I had to go to Australia. And what I did was I had to pay. The tickets then were $1,500 US. Wow. I had to pay double. That was $3,000. That's probably like $30,000. The appreciation of the dollar.
Yeah.
I had to pay double for everything and expedite the passport and all that stuff, and I had to get some money. We came over to Australia. I wasn't looking for anything or anybody. I was sick of relationship. I was tired of the shallowness and the emptiness and everything. I said, I just want to go with my friends and have fun, and meet people and just have a great time.
Yeah.
And so we went to Hamilton Island, and we went out on the dive boat. We went diving on the Great Barrier Reef, and we asked the girl on the dive boat, remade, where's the fun for New Year's Eve? Oh, meet me down at the center of Hamilton Island, at the general store or whatever, and we'll all get together and have some fun. I said, that's fine. Well, we're down there having fun. 11:30 at night, my wife pops up. My wife to be pops
Wife
up.
to be, yeah.
And I think, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Now, let me back up just a second.
Usually when I meet a girl, I go, uh-oh, they're in trouble.
Well, it works both ways, definitely. Anyway, let me back up a little bit. There was a girl from America who was trying to get with me. She was trying to kiss me and, this and all. I said, please stop. You're very nice, but I'm really not interested. Now I know how women feel when the guy's relentless, trying to, kissing and this and that.
Yeah.
I apologize for all men right up front. Okay?
I second that. Yes.
And she was just relentless, and I was just, please stop. I mean, she'd come by, and with another guy, she'd stop and kiss him in front of me and look at me, and then walk away and stuff like that. I'm just like,
oh, God.
I'm not here for this,
Yeah.
Anyway, my wife rocks up. I knew her for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then we went to Sydney and all these other places, and we came home. I came home to an ice storm in Baltimore, Maryland, and there was a connection there that I'd never had before in my life. And when I held her hand, it just felt so right, and I knew. I was like, ooh, watch out. And it was just amazing. And what's interesting is I was destined to be there. I wasn't going to go, I wasn't going to go, and then I went. She had the same thing. She could have worked at a couple different places. She had many job opportunities. She said, no, I'm just going to relax, and I don't want to be with anybody or do anything. I just want to work and have fun on a tropical island resort. So she was pulled over there. I thought, isn't that interesting? So anyway, I knew her for 3 days. I came back to the U.S. I knew. I said, look, I really, really love you, and I never use the L word unless I mean it. I'm not that kind of guy. And I said, come over and live with me and see how we go. Well, 22 years later, we have 3 wonderful children, and for me, 22 years is 10 or 15 lifetimes, because if I was with somebody for 6 months, that was an eternity for me.
Okay, yeah.
So the point is, she was vegan the whole time. She was very forgiving to me. Thank you so much, honey, for understanding and being so patient. You are an unbelievable inspiration, and I think it's a lesson for us all.
It is a good lesson.
Don't say no to something just because they're this. Or they're that, or don't put put in whatever label you want, but just give them an opportunity, because I was a lump of coal, I was a diamond in the rough, and she's polished me right up, and for that I'm thankful, and I love you so much, sweetheart.
Now, before we go out, because we've got a few minutes left, that was fantastic to hear that. It's very inspiring. Have you got any?
Respect more, judge less, she
said. Yes.
That's wonderful, wonderful.
Have you got, and Christine replied to what we were saying earlier about the
overeating.
Yeah. So have you got any recommendations? We've mentioned a few different books.
Look,
I've mentioned, we've mentioned Dale Carnegie, we've mentioned...
Dale Carnegie, I love Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins. Right. Man, oh man, you can't go wrong. Jim Rohn. Now, he was with multi-level marketing with Herbalife. He rarely talks about Herbalife. He said something very interesting. He goes, if you work hard at your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. Now, don't just take that as making money. It's not about making money. The money is the byproduct. The money will be there. It's about you. When I first started and I blamed everything and everybody, I had a list a mile long. It wasn't written down. It was in my head about why something didn't work. My business, my this, my life, everything was on that list but one thing. Me. I wasn't on that list. As soon as I put myself on that list, my life went 180 degrees around. I changed. I love my life right now. I love my life.
Is fantastic to go out on with that. I love that. That is good. That is really good. So we're nearly out of time. So that's what we're going to go out on with. So thank you very much. Thank you. See how quick the hour goes? It goes really quick once you get into it.
I didn't talk much, so I was very happy.
It felt like an interview with. I think it was an interview with me.
Take responsibility.
Yes,
that's exactly right.
So before we run completely out of time, I just want to mention. I want to say this has been episode 18 of the Vegan Hour. Next week on episode 19, I have Ethan Patterson, who is representing the younger vegans, very fit younger vegan in his 20s. He will be on. He's quite a cyclist, does some pretty good rides.
That should be a good one.
Up Springbrook. So join us next week for that. And until then...
Wait! Remember to share this with your friends. You know what? Somebody, if you share this on your feed or wherever you do it on Blogger or whatever, if somebody sees this, if they get one thing out of it and it helps them,
yes,
has it been worth it?
Definitely. Well said. Well said. And this, talking about sharing, is not only on my Facebook page where you're watching it now, but will be on my YouTube channel, the non-pixelated version in about 2 days, where you can actually see us clearly the whole time. Yeah. So thank you for joining us, guys,
Jim
for
Rohn,
your comments. Yes.
He's an amazing ranch.
Yes, Stephen mentions Jim Rohn, and
just after he passed
Christy says, great episode. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Christy. Thank you. And
I hope you guys got some value out of it.
Yeah.
If you didn't, it's your own fault.
And so remember, until I see you next week, to live vegan and save lives. And we'll see you on episode 19. I'll see you before then. I'm sure I'll be doing a live stream on the bicycle or something. So this has been episode 18 of the Vegan Hour. Take care, guys. Ahimsa.